Okay, very good morning to you all. Everybody well this morning? Excellent. Okay, 2 years, well actually not 2 years ago, last year I stood up on stage and I introduced the world to CloudApp Security. And you can watch that video online, so if you're new to CloudApp Security, go online, there's a video there from last year. This session, I wanted to come back and I wanted to look at kind of my tips and tricks that I thought that really bring value to the product, and it's things that you might have missed. So it's my kind of top 10 features, if you will, of CloudApp Security. Who am I? My name is Andy Malone. I'm an MVP and a Microsoft certified trainer. I'm based in the UK, but I'm kind of travel everywhere with my job. I love security. I'm passionate about security. And I've been speaking here at Microsoft Ignite and TechEd over the years on various cybersecurity topics. And this is the one that I think that they really get right. This is a fantastic product. And it's not surprising that it's, a lot of people don't know about it. And I think it's a topic that you can really champion within your organization. So I'm going to talk about my top 10 of value-add features that I think will really make a difference to you. So number 10, I would say, is integrating MCAS with information protection. Now, information protection is definitely, it brings labeling and classification to your organization. It allows you for security and compliance reasons to really kind of classify and protect your data with information rights management, rights protection, and so on. And the thing about it is integrating it into MCAS is really as simple as clicking a single checkbox, and that's it. That's essentially all you do. Now, just to give you an idea of how easy MCAS is, if you go into the settings area, there's a whole bunch of settings in there. So things like integrating with Windows information protection. You can also integrate it with Azure Advanced Protection as well, the antivirus as well. So once you've clicked that checkbox, it's essentially a really, really simple thing to do for investigating. Now, why would you investigate? Well, I can go and investigate, let's say, a particular user here. And if you're looking through a user account, you can see a list of all their files and folders, and you might feel that, hang on, they're actually working on stuff here, and they're accessing files on applications, on apps, that really should be protected. So once you've determined that, you can then essentially apply that classification label, select the label, you can then review the governance scenario in your organization. Once you've done that, of course, labels can now be seen and viewed in MCAS. So you as a security administrator can then label those documents accordingly for compliance reasons. So that's my number 10 tip, okay? So integrate with the information rights management. So number 9, control the use of Oauth apps. I'm a speaker. I'm always kind of speaking at various conferences around the world. And I came across this particular website not that long ago. And I thought, yeah, okay, I want to sign up. And it's asked me, okay, do I want to integrate my Microsoft 365 account with this? And I noticed some of these, it says it can read my contacts, access my data anytime. And I thought, oh, hang on a minute. The alarm bells were starting to ring there. And I thought, okay, that's great for an individual, because as an individual, we often just click buy. But if this was in your organization, my alarm bells would really be ringing right now. So OAuth applications are fantastic because they federate you, and it means that you can use single sign-on. It's awesome. But if this was going through the organization and you were using corporate apps, it could be a real problem. So organization-wise, there needs to be a way to control and a way to manage this. And you can do this, of course, in MCAS today. So again, I can simply go into the investigate area, I can click into Oauth apps, and I can then either decide whether I want to block or allow that particular app. And you can give a reason to the user, so you can explain to the user why you don't want them to use that app, and you can notify them, and you can even revoke that app as well. So for security reasons, I think this is an absolute must that you need to enable. There is, of course, an audit log, and what you can also do is you can actually contact the vendor of the app as well. And you can then inform them, look, your application is just requesting too many permissions. Okay, so definitely my number 9, controlling OAuth apps with MCAS within the organization. Okay, so what's my number 7? Number 7 is, what if your app is not listed? So obviously, you know, it might be, for example, the scenario where you've got your own applications within the company, or maybe it's a legacy application or something that you use internally or that you've developed yourself. Now, CloudApp Discovery is great at finding the big apps, the corporate apps, but what about the smaller ones? And how easy is it just to add in your own? Well, actually, again, it's remarkably simple. You can add in your own custom apps here. And it's as simple as just a few clicks. So you can simply go into the CloudApp Discovery dashboard, you can add a custom app in, and then essentially all you need to do, as it says here, is just put in the details of that app, the IP address that it's talking about, any kind of restrictions, the platform, details, and so on. And once you've added that app, it's then available for everyone. Okay, so my tip number 7. Number 7 is make search and discovery more meaningful with a feature called user enrichment. Now, again, for security and compliance reasons, a lot of the reporting, a lot of the auditing might be fairly generic in your organization. But there may be times when you need to kind of query Active Directory, or Azure Active Directory rather, and you need a little bit more detail on a specific user. Maybe you're doing an investigation, maybe it's for digital forensics or something like that. So this particular feature, again, is really, really simple. You simply go into the settings area and just enable user enrichment. Okay, this allows you then to basically do an investigation of shadow IT. And as we know, the shadow IT is a particularly risky, or can be particularly risky for an organization, because you need to know not just what applications are running in your organization, but how those applications are interacting with your applications. What kind of data are they taking from your applications? Again, for security and compliance reasons, it's particularly, this is a good one to definitely get up with. Okay, so my number 6 is on the other side, on the flip side of that, what about anonymizing my data? So again, for reporting and compliance and governance, there are many places, many countries in the world that really don't want to see user names, user details. So again, for compliance reasons and reporting, you may want to anonymize the data. Again, this is pretty simple to do. Again, you can create a new Cloud Discovery report. So you create, for example, a new snapshot report here. Simply click the checkbox to anonymize the data, and then you can then start filtering what it is you want to search for. And when you're pulling out those reports, the user data is completely anonymized. And again, for compliance reasons, this is a definitely plus. Okay. Okay, so again, this is what it looks like. So once you've clicked on that label, what you can then do is, if an administrator actually needs to de-anonymize the data, they can actually click the checkbox and it prompts them to put in a reason. So for auditing purposes, why is it that you want to de-anonymize this data? Again, this is audited, it's reported. Okay. Again, and then there's a report here. You can go in and view that report. In terms of what does it look like, so again, this is the Cloud Discovery dashboard. At the bottom right-hand corner here, you can see your most used users, and you'll notice in this screenshot here that all the user accounts are actually anonymized, so you don't actually see the user data here. Excuse me, just have a quick drink. Right, okay, so moving on, that's my number 6 there. Okay, so what about my number 5? So number 5, it's all about the connectors. Now, as you know, you can connect your applications and corporate applications by using a number of connectors. Now, connectors are fantastic because they provide a complete set of APIs for those applications, and they provide reporting and auditing and multiple capabilities. They also allow you to leverage the APIs of all the major providers, so Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and so on. But again, it's possible that you can also create your own. And the nice thing is you can also have multiple instances of applications running as well, and you can have different reporting scalings with these. So once you've added in the connectors, it's very easy to add in the connectors. So again, from the CloudApp Discovery dashboard, you just go into the connector screen. There's a whole list of connectors here. Again, this is really a nice feature. You can actually go ahead and suggest connectors. So if there's organizations or providers there that you want added, you can go in and suggest to Microsoft, and they're great. They will listen to you and add those connectors in. So once you add the connector in, it provides a whole bunch of insight into those applications. So how are those applications integrating and interacting with your organizations in terms of, for example, security and compliance? It gives you account insights. So which users are using the accounts? What files are the users opening? Oauth, are they using Oauth applications within the organizations? And again, it also allows you to carry out things like investigations by looking at auditing and alerts. So the connectors are really, really great. Again, you can see app permissions, you've got account governance, you can do a complete data scan so you can see all the files and folders, and of course that then allows you to, for example, if you can even classify the files with information rights protection that I mentioned earlier. So, definitely about the connectors. Number 4, auto-remediation. So I mentioned the alerting feature. This is a really very cool feature. Now, alerts, it's great, but what do you want to do? Is there a way to auto-remediate something? So, for example, if a user opens up an application and a file that they're not supposed to, what do you want me to do about it? So there is an auto-remediation feature here. So you can go into an alert, and in the governance area, you can essentially say, okay, if an alert happens, then I want you to take this action by default, okay? So again, really, really simple. It allows you to resolve simple issues. For things like, you'll need, obviously, one of those Office plans there. Okay, so if you're using EM&S, E5, and so on, which you would have anyway to be using this feature. So my tip number 4, auto-remediation. Number 3 is power to the shell. Now, Jerome at Microsoft wrote a great PowerShell module. This is available at the PowerShellGallery.com, and it's being enhanced all the time. This is a great feature, provides all the features, all the tech for MCAS. Now, if you want to also have a look at the other one, there is also an unofficial PowerShell module that's available on GitHub as well, and this provides some really neat functionality as well. Again, I put both links there. The slides will be available at the end, okay? I'll make sure that you get a copy of these. What about my number 2? Oh, I'm getting excited. Okay, number 2 is you can control featured apps with conditional access app control. I love conditional access. And the fact that it integrates into CloudApp Security absolutely rocks. So conditional access means that you can dictate which users using which app on which device in which location and so on. You can control the sessions. You can block downloads of particular files through a particular app. So by integrating it into CloudApp Security, again, it gives you a much tighter control, much more control, and much granular management of this. So you can, again, combine it with conditional access. That's my tip number 3, okay? And again, for the reporting features, it rocks as well. Okay, number 2. Number 2 is you can automate, number 1 rather. Number 1 is you can automate CloudApp Security using Flow. Now, I mentioned Flow yesterday in one of my presentations. If you've not looked at Flow, Flow absolutely rocks. Again, think of it as automate, so you can automate a number of simple steps. But when you use this and integrate it into CloudApp Security, it makes it much more interesting. So again, there are a whole bunch of templates there. If a particular application receives an alert, for example, you can then say, okay, if this happens, then I want you to carry out a number of other steps, okay? So the whole thing is essentially automated. Now, in terms of an administrator, it's possibly as simple as just a simple click. So they could have a simple button, they click, the whole thing is remediated, okay? So Flow and CloudApp Security is my number 1, okay? So my top 10, number 10, integrate with Azure Information Protection. Number 9, manage control with the Oauth, the open authentication apps. You need to be able to control them within the organization. For example, in my example, if it said, do you want to view all the data, that could be a serious security breach within your company. Again, if the app's not listed, you can easily add it through a custom app. Number 7, make search more discovery with user enrichment. Likewise, if you're concerned about anonymizing your data, you can do that at number 6. Number 5, it's all about the connectors. 4, auto-remediation, and 2, of course, is power to the shell. Definitely number 1 is integrate MCAS with Flow, okay? If you've enjoyed the presentation, my name is Andy Malone. I really appreciate you coming along, and I hope very much that you enjoy the rest of your day at Microsoft Ignite. All right? Thank you very much, folks. Thank you.